Hello, welcome to the Hidden Sun podcast. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jodie, and I've completely forgotten what number episode this is. But I'm really excited about it, and I'm here with Rachel Strange.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. And we're in your living room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. And letting me put all of this kit everywhere. I've been really, really excited to hear you speak. And I feel like there was a specific thing. This is like an Instagram thing. So I think the way I found you, I saw something you had written, like an introduction. And it was, you were speaking to your journey of what brought you to making jewellery. I think I should have said that. You were a jeweller, and it was so beautiful, and I kept thinking about it, and I don't want to like put the words out. I want to hear you speak to it. I guess what I would love to do is to ask you to speak to the journey of how you have found your way to where you are now as a maker and a jeweller. Take as long as you like. Tell me. Yeah.
Well, we'll start from the beginning. So I never had any throughout my 20s. I always was suppressing a lot, I think, of what I feel is what I now recognise is just my expression, my creativity, but never had any confidence. And I always wrapped up my confidence in what I was doing for a living. And I spent most of my 20s supporting artists. So I used to work in Brighton and supporting artists at Brighton Fringe. So I used to put the programme together. I used to give all the artists all the advice to get their shows up and running, and all creative mediums as well. So I'd be very much that linchpin to get them sorted, to get them on the platform, to get a platform for them. And I just thought, well, this is my calling. I need to be there for other people. Never really thought about putting myself first, and in terms of my own, my deepest desires to actually do something that is something personal to me. And I guess, we can talk about why that might be, but I think I just suppressed it for a long time. And I was really lucky. I had some, really wild times in Brighton, working in venues, working in the music promotion industry, and settled doing lots of like marketing and putting events together. And then deep down, I always knew I wanted to have to be a mum. And then I had that opportunity come to me, and all the time, just thinking that I would have a very kind of typical time of it, and nothing in terms of my. I think it was very much like my intuition. Maybe there was something telling me something wasn't right, but throughout the pregnancy there were like a few little key signs. And essentially what happened was, when I had my daughter, she I wasn't awake for it. I was under anaesthetic, but it was a very kind of rushed emergency 3 C-section, where essentially they took her to up to the ICU, and she couldn't breathe. So we were in this kind of like state of initial trauma after she was born. She had like she was basically born with lots of medical complications. I think that that kind of, that the initial impact of that caused a lot of things that I'd been suppressing to come up on the surface. And I think like that basically was like this big thing in my life that just pivoted my whole life. And I was basically just thrust to be a nurse, and everything about expectation of what motherhood would be, expectation of what raising being with a baby would be, was just not there. We were in hospital for 6 months, and essentially she was born where she had something like a stroke very, very early on. And it affected the way her cranial nerves grew.
Yeah.
So basically, when she came out, she couldn't breathe. It's like almost like the back of her throat was very much up against the wall of her mouth, so that being able to breathe wasn't there.
Yeah.
And she is deaf and couldn't swallow, so she has to have a whole host of interventions. And because of that, we were in hospital for a long time, being taught by doctors and nurses to like use our hands basically to keep her alive. So lots of intervention in terms of making sure that she's fed through a tube in her stomach and that she can breathe through a hole in her throat. And it's extreme. And at the time, it still is extreme. You know, she's 7 now, but at the time, it was just this completely different medicalized world that I'd never been I'd never been in hospital before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think basically I came out of this kind of period once she was at home, and we were managing this kind of very medically complex kind of care every day. I just found myself in this complete, and I'm a fairly upbeat kind of, I don't hold a lot in. I have a really good support system, and I'm able to say how I feel most of the time. But I think that was the one time in my life where I couldn't see any kind of future. I couldn't see any happiness. Like all my roads, all my eggs were in this basket of like, I wanted to be a mum, and this was going to be my happiness. And then when everything happened, there was just nothing. There was just, I couldn't even like begin to think of like the next hour, because I was just thinking, I'm going to have to be this nurse, and I'm going to be in this dire straits of doing things that I don't want to do. I just physically was just like, I just can't look after my child.
Yeah.
Because it was just this trauma basically. So after some time of feeling this way, I saw a counsellor very, very briefly, and I guess I just realised that in this kind of situation, you know, once you're a mum and once you've got any kind of big responsibility, you can't there's no path that leads to not having it. So it's just acceptance basically, and slowly realising this is the way things are. I'm going to have to find a way to accept it and live with it. And that's the first stages of trying to get over the trauma that I'd experienced in everything that had happened. And I think a part of that was realising that I needed to reclaim this part of myself that I was grieving in a way.
Yeah.
So this part that I thought was going to be this magical, creative, blossoming, yummy mummy journey of like being in Brighton and having this kind of gorgeous time of meeting other mums, and finally like having some time to myself, because I'd been, you know, fully working, not taking you don't get much of a break when you're living in that lifestyle. So I thought, well, this is my time, and I didn't get that. So I think I really like just looked at hard, and I was just like, what would I really love to do? What do I feel like I'd be good at? And I think then I just really, I mean, I was so scared, so frightened to even sign up to learn, because I was thinking, well, what can I do with my hands? You know, I've learned all these skills, whereas before everything was very like administrative based, very much in person. I'd never used my hands in a craft before. And I thought, well, the one way of being creative is at least using your hands to manipulate something, to create something, and that's to make something physical. You know, I'd done painting, but I just thought I would really love to make jewelry, and if nothing happens from it, then that's okay, because at least I've done something. And it tied in well, because everything that we were doing with my daughter was just so hands-on. And I'd learned these really fine motor skills from having to, she has like twill ties that we have to do every day to keep the tracheostomy in, and, you know, fiddling with the tubes of her hearing aids, you know, all these like really tiny things that basically had meant this like crazy dexterity in my hands. I was like, you know what, I think if I can keep my daughter kind of alive, I can probably make a, you know, just like a basic silver band. And so I found this course in Brighton and did a really short 6 weeks. And I just remember shaking, like it was a 4-hour course. And I just remember shaking so much because I was just like nervous as I was excited. And then I just realized like this is like the best therapy I've ever done. To be present, because, you know, in the first, they throw you in, they're like, make this ring, here's a blowtorch. You know, I'm not a very good cook. I don't even like, you know, frying. I don't even like frying things. And like to be like, here's this huge blowtorch, you know, now you solder these two bits together, and you just have to really like take a big deep breath and be like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I know that somebody else has control at this point, but you've just got to kind of go with it because, this is what creativity is. It's like exploring this thing that you've never experienced before to create something.
Yeah, it's creation, yeah.
So I just went, I can just, even now, like I'm feeling it. I can remember how I felt that very first few hours of just exploded my head open. And I think ever since then I've been working. I went back and did a few more short courses at the same place, a few more weeks, just to get the very basics. And then I discovered how to make in wax. And I've always been so attracted to things that are not typical, not you know, the kind of shiny Pandora style jewelry isn't my taste. So I just thought, well, why would I make something like that? Because you know, when you're signing up to a course, you do get expression, but it's not like somebody is saying you should be making X, Y, and Z. This is how it should look. You know, there is obviously that, but I just thought, you know, I'm just going to go and make the most far out things that I can make, and then I'm going to fine tune in from there. Because if I don't at least try when I don't have any knowledge. If I don't have any knowledge of what I'm doing, then I can muck it up and it won't matter, and then I can just refine kind of from there. And I think that's how I've approached things. I'm very much like, I'll make something, and if it goes wrong, then I'll keep refining. And I guess that's a part of my process as well. But yeah, I just think ever since then, it's given me a good foundation of just going for it. And I haven't stopped since, and that was 2021. Where are we now? So no, 2022 that was.
Yeah.
So I haven't stopped since then. I've literally been my head has been down. I've been just making and balancing being a mum as well.
Yeah.
And everything that comes from being kind of like in the medically complex kind of arena of being a mum as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. And it's just this wonderful freedom of expression. And yeah, I mean, I guess you must know as a jeweler as well that it's just this kind of play that's so important. Yeah. Sorry, that's a lot to think about. That's so much to think about.
No, it's
very loaded.
Like, well, I mean, I'm always aware when I ask the question of like the journey, like it's so vast, and it almost feels like a disservice to like and everyone always says the same thing. It's like, sorry, that was long. And it's like, no, it's like a drop in the ocean of like the bigness of each of our lives and like our journeys and our lived stories. It's like, how do you possibly just nutshell it? But I feel like we're also so used to, and also this is like a podcast, and it has like it's got a time frame of some kind. So it's like, of course, it has to end somewhere. But I always feel like, wow, it's so big. Like, our experiences, they're so big, and we're also so small in the scheme of things, and it's also so massive. So
it's one of those things that everything feels so complex and so tied together that it's almost simple as well, in a way. Like it's these two things at the same time that I feel like incredibly complex feelings, but when I really look at it, you know, I'm just so pleased that I found some sort of creative outlet that I can do as therapy that's becoming like this beautiful thing that I can keep developing. And I guess that's kind of, I apply that to being a mum as well. So it's just like the two in themselves have really like dovetailed nicely. And it's just that awful thing. Like I know that if none of that had ever happened, we wouldn't be sat here.
Yeah.
And that's like the craziest, that's like blows my mind.
It's mad, isn't it?
So,
like there has to be like a baseline of when you reach the point of being like, if that thing which like really reoriented my whole relationship to life,
totally,
if that hadn't have happened in all of its everything, I wouldn't even try to put words to what that experience is like for you.
Yeah.
But I feel like for each of us, we have those things where it's like it completely reorients your life, and then you also think, but if it hadn't have happened, so you can't wish it away, because there's something about being present for the life that you have now.
Exactly.
And when you're feeling the fullness of it, and I feel like there's something like I feel like I'm most me and most in my like aliveness when I'm present with materials in front of me. Like it's such an exquisite gift. And I feel like I never stop being like in awe of that.
Yeah.
And what's led me to like have that relationship with those things, and to create and to send things out into the world. And also, as you say, to like, it's like living therapy. Like for me, like I could spend years talking about things from my head, or you can sit with the thing in front of you and let it like show you what you need to, not need to, but like maybe can't see about yourself or something.
Yeah. And
it's in the thing that you're making, but you don't often realise till afterwards. And then it's like, oh, I'm doing this thing, and it's like bringing all these things forward. Anyway, that's what it's like for me.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful experience to have, and I feel really grateful that in my lifetime I've been able to like cultivate that and commit to it, so that it keeps giving me that. I feel like so what's become really important, and I think this is because of bit who I am, but also because of just the state of jewelry, just so many jewelers as well. There's a lot of jewelers.
A lot of jewelers. I'm just absolutely obsessed with this idea of originality. And I know nothing's original. Everything we draw upon, like from everywhere, from everything, even subconsciously, even consciously. So, but I'm very much of the fact I can see it in my work when I am trying to. And I would obviously never say copy, but if I see something and I'm like, that's super impressive, could I try and make something with that kind of setting?
Yeah.
And wax, we can go into it, but like wax is this. I just find it like the most beautiful thing. And it's your signature, isn't it? What you create with the wax forms is your signature. Yeah, it's become this kind of like chaos to me that just unfolds, and I can just it's just, sometimes it's something, and I think that's why I love it, because it's like the more I do it, the more I get to know how things will turn out. But also there's always this like seat of your pants moment where you're not quite sure exactly how it's going to come out, and I think that's why I like it. I'm really drawn to that kind of edge of it could go this way, or it could go that way, and maybe, because it's one of these things, you can make this mold in this wax, but until it's in the metal, you're not, and altogether you're not really going to see it as the whole. And just I love that about it. But when I'm trying to make something that I've seen, so that setting's nice, let's see if I can create it in wax, it will invariably never ever come out. Even though I'm like, I know how that's done, I can do that. It will never ever come out how I see it, and then I'll just it'll just look so flat, and I'd be like, why did I even try? Because the best things have always come from adapting something that I've already seen in my mind's eye, regardless of anything else I've seen. And like, I just constantly learning that you have to just trust what your own voice is. And again, that's like permeating throughout my whole life. So like, the more confident I get in my designing, the more confident I am to like speak to new people, to speak about it. And it's just, that's the other thing that I think, having like a craft as opposed to being in an office. And although I loved, I was so lucky, and I had an amazing time in my career in Brighton. There's just something about, even if you're doing something, once every month or something, there's just something about trusting yourself in that process that gives you that confidence.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I feel like you do know.
It's so important.
It's magic, and it's really vital. Thank you for like speaking to that. I definitely like, there's a way that I really relate to that. Like I definitely have found in like expressing through things that I'm sending out into the world that I've had to put myself through the like fire of like burning off all the layers where I think I'm seeing myself outside of myself, and you have to just be in it and create it from the inside out. And there's a real confidence building in that, in learning how to stay true to yourself and your voice, and then to be comfortable. I can only speak for myself, but like then to be comfortable being seen doing that. It's like this constant cycle of trusting myself a little bit more, and then it becomes, I'm not thinking about it, I'm just doing the thing.
I definitely feel like I take that for granted. Sometimes I can squash that feeling, sometimes I can really embrace that feeling, and I'm still definitely like learning that it's there. It's
not always the same, is it? I feel like it would be unnatural for it to always feel one way.
That's true. Yeah, I guess you need that push and that pull to make something that's
it's like tidal. It's like there's a movement to it. I feel anyway, because I can really berate myself for like feeling like, I really felt the energy of that thing on one day, or I felt really like confident in that thing on that, on that day, and now I feel really like inward. And I can, if unchecked, like make it a thing that's like wrong, and it's not. It's just the nature of being alive. That it's
like a good reflection of our states, our mental states.
I do feel that, but also learning, like having a creative practice also really levels that for me. Like it makes it feel less bumpy. Because there's something to like move back to. I really feel that.
I have a lot of that.
There's so much in there's so much in what you how you spoke to your journey, and the word that went like ding for me is when you said reclaiming. And I would love to like open the floor for that word, because I feel like I definitely have a relationship, a close relationship with that word in my own like practice. With the jewellery, like I work with like salvaged materials, and it's been really important. I didn't realise this till after I'd started doing it in that way, and then I was trying to like, for the bio of my website or whatever, like put words to the thing, and reclaiming, although I could use the word salvaged, it was like, no, they're reclaimed. And it wasn't till after I'd started working that way for like a good year or something that I realised that it was such a direct and profound mirror to the nature of me in this process of like reclaiming the life that I wanted to create for myself, and to really honour what was there and make it, see the value in it, and to not kind of cast the journey aside. So there's something that like in the use of like the word reclaiming distinctly really was meaningful and continues to be meaningful to me. And I really love that you spoke to that, and that it was a significant enough thing for you to say. I don't know. I'm not really asking you a question. I just wanted to say it because it felt like really like there and alive. And I wonder for how many people in their own lives there's something that they have that's like a reclaiming for them.
I think particularly when you're young still, and you have these like expectations of what something will be, what new roles will, for me anyway, what I thought motherhood would be, what I thought my life would look like. And I think I now know that never to do that again because essentially that's where a lot of my anxiety and a lot of my trauma and a lot of my suppression of my own like self comes from, I think, is just thinking things should look one way, or thinking things will be one way, and you have no real clue of what the universe is, how it's going to play out, and how you're going to fit into that. And I think just having some sort of like understanding of what's going on. I just feel like deep down, I know that if I wasn't doing jewelry and if I wasn't putting myself out there in this way, I think I would just be I'd still be that person in my flat in Brighton, just a complete mess. I think I would not have found any kind of, even though, you know, I'm still a mum and like I'm all those things I wanted to be in a way. I think I would be just not be myself. I wouldn't have been this person with this fire that I was before I went through this life-changing thing. And I play it down because I guess that's like, you know, in our nature to not want to think about terrible things that you've been through. But sometimes I remind myself, God, I am so lucky that I was able to take something good from what was incredibly like traumatic. And I think creativity and producing something that I'm proud of, that's just kind of been everything. And I think that's probably what I meant by realizing that even bad things, you know, certain bad things, you know, you can't always find a silver lining from, but certainly in this instance, like I was able to do that. I think
it's so exquisite to hear your expression to it. Like when you say when you talk about like playing something down, there's like a few things that the words have like vanished from my head that were there like just a second ago. But like I also feel like there's something in when you have an experience and it's like integrated back into your life that you naturally play it down, but it's not playing it down, it's like life is running, like you're not taken back in time all the time to that thing, so it naturally has less charge, I guess. And I feel like becoming a mum is possibly the ultimate creative act, right? And within that you've also been in like the fire or the void of this life shifting, altering, all the words, I couldn't find the words, experience, and you've done the ultimate creative thing from that, which is to let life move you against the weight of like all the ways where we hope life will be one way, and then life gets given to us differently, and it's a kind of death. I feel like that's a kind of death. It's like a kind of archetypal death that we don't really talk about in this part of the world, because it doesn't really have a name or a thing, and it can come out in like medicalized words of like what that is. I mean, I'm not I don't want to put words into things, but I also know, you know, there's ways that we talk about kind of like depression and things like that, and often I feel like underneath that is a sense of like life moving in a way that's just feels so not of us, and the ultimate creative thing we can do is to let life move us. And it is like such a huge initiation, and I feel like it's also a gift, and it's a really hard thing to say it's a gift. It, like there's a stickiness to that, because it's like but all these things, but I feel like it can also be a gift, and what you've spoken to is that it has been a gift to you, and it's so magic. It's so magic to be able to have that in your life.
I think recognizing that life will go on as well, you know. I think kind of it's the two things, isn't it? It's like the acceptance of the now, but also realizing that building up to your own like the mental health and getting everything back takes more like sometimes strategic planning, and and I think sometimes it's just those two together. For me anyway, I realised that I have to get up in the morning to do certain things for my daughter. So there's going to be things that I'm going to have to take on the shoulder and just get on with. And I guess I'm lucky that she's still here. So I do. That's the other thing, is that, I think when you're so close to something, the worst thing that could happen, it really gave me this sense of like, I don't ascribe to any religion, but this kind of feeling of like, this is something saying, get yourself in gear, like she's still here, and that is just beyond belief because of all the things that could have happened. So I think when something like, it's that pivotal, it's just about not taking anything for granted. And I think I just became like this huge like rocket of like, well, don't take that for granted, because we're so grateful to be here anyway. So when you come from that point of view of realizing that, looking for gratefulness in everything, I think that's really helped me build my confidence and being able to like get out there, and even silly things like doing a jewelry market. Like I'd never have been able to do that before. I think I would have just found that the most terrifying thing, most like, I just definitely could not have put myself out there. But I just think, well, the opportunity is there, and I should just be grateful that I've even been able to put my name in the hat, even those small things. And I do get very obsessed about, like, could I do this? And sometimes you're just like, God, the very fact that I can even ponder that is just, I'm so thankful for it. And that's kind of like, that really is kind of a thrust of everything that I
It's so beautiful. As you describe it, like there's a real, like, I feel like that's such a beautiful like charge of energy to give to a business as well that you've created, and you kind of need it because it's hard.
And when you're by yourself, doing something by yourself.
To have that like forward momentum.
Yes.
Like, everything else has just been blown out the water, so I may as well do this. Not to put words in your mouth.
No, that's exactly it.
Like that will reframe your life
100%.
Easy enough, won't it? And that, not easy, but like good enough to get things done that you might otherwise have like fretted over.
Totally.
Is like really,
it's like
really special.
This place of being like, well, what's the worst that could happen? Because none of these things, I think, I just forget that on a daily basis, not to be macabre, but, we have to do a lot of intervention that is sometimes like not life-threatening to her, but we have to change her tracheostomy tube, and if it comes out, she dies.
It's
basically
vital.
She needs it to live. And the days that we change her tube, they're scary days, and I just think, God, if I can get through that, then this is nothing, this is not stress. And I know like anybody can look at it and be like, well, there's the things that you're doing could be stressful in certain situations, like when something goes wrong, or you've got an engagement ring, people are like really like, you've got to get it right. But I can't approach it like that, and if I ever were to approach it, I wouldn't do it, because it's just I think and that's how I come back from this like place of being so grateful, because if I was stressed about it, I know like it wouldn't happen. That makes sense.
It does.
Like garbled, but
it does. It makes perfect sense, because also the how you relate to it in some ways does change the outcome, but also in some ways doesn't. I kind of feel like anxiety energy is potential energy, and it's how we direct it, isn't it? So you can direct it differently and make it a choice.
Make it a choice. And I'm definitely a person of extremes, I found. I'm like, don't know if you noticed, I'm like, one or the other. And I think that's probably because of everything that has happened. I have to like really make a conscious effort to turn away from certain things that are dark. And then, I just catapult myself into like the, things that are great, because if I didn't, it's not a good place to be. So I think from that has definitely changed my whole personality of this person of extremes. And I've been told that I had this talk with these it was like an audit for your business from the jewelry industry, and I don't even know why I did it. I thought, oh well, you know, I'd like to, when you're working by yourself, I don't know how much you do this, but I have I don't really have a mentor or anybody that and sometimes I feel like, God, what I wouldn't give for a mentor. So sometimes I do put the feelers out, and I'm thinking, God, it would be great to have somebody who knows, you know, industry things. But it was the worst decision I've ever made because they made me feel so, I don't know, it just made me feel, it was just completely at odds with everything that I'm doing, which is, I guess, intuitive. Yeah. And this kind of expression of, that's just singular expression at this point. You know, obviously I'm doing things in collaboration with people when I'm doing bespokes and things, but I don't have to think about working with other people in the same way. And I think industry, when you say the word industry, that's obviously what it is. And I think I was naive. I went into this thing thinking I would get some really solid, you know, people throwing things out, and it would be like this kind of connection. And it wasn't that. It was basically them saying, well, you're a bit anti-establishment for... How
fucking wonderful. Great.
Yeah. And then I walked away and I was like, actually, that's great. That's what I wanted to hear. Like, thank you. But you're right. But, you know, I think, again, it was one of those moments where I set myself up for this thing that I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't. But I realised that, you know, the world of fine jewellery and that world of jewellery is not anything that I understand, and that's okay. Yeah. And I think that's taking some time as well.
It's fine to not, God, this is really juicy. Like, there's so much.
It's just I'm so naive. So, you know, I literally know nothing about it, and I think.
Yeah, no, me neither. Sorry, I'm just, I'm definitely holding alive what you said. I had this sudden moment of like really wanting to check that like the mics are running.
Are we still on?
Yeah, no, they are. Okay.
That would be terrible.
I know.
If we had gone this far.
Shows what can be in my mind. Yeah.
No, that's good.
But are we good for time?
Yeah, 11:45. Yeah.
Okay. Because I said no when you said, do you have a mentor? I had like one experience of mentorship last year.
Oh, yeah.
And it made me really doubt myself in a way that I hadn't expected, because I really was craving and wanted, and naturally thought, I can't possibly know. Like, I must be doing all these things wrong. It's been a running thing, because when you do everything, you think, well, I don't want to assume that you think, but I definitely have been on this kind of journey of noticing the kind of energy soup that I'm in, of like, why do I always think there's something I'm missing? And last year it really peaked for me.
This is exactly what I said to them. That's how I opened. I said, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything, because
and you think someone else will say the thing that's like the special magic sauce.
Yes.
And it was quite confronting, and in so many ways it was so beautiful, and I'm very grateful for it. Like, hugely grateful for the lens of, you know, just someone else apart from me looking at everything through my, you know, with all my perception and all of my things I think about myself, like to have a clear lens back is really beautiful always.
Just that opportunity.
The opportunity is great, and I really wanted it, so I you know, pursued it and received that for a while. And I also noticed how much I then made that person's lens or opinion more important than my own, and I had to sit with it for a few months afterwards and be like, maybe I don't have to agree with everything there, and maybe I know more than I
And I wonder if that's our age.
I don't know,
because I have this conversation with a lot of my friends who are similar age, and one of my friends turned around and said, you know, we don't have to think the same thing. And I was just like, oh God, you're totally right.
It's absolutely fine, and it's also fine. I think, so what if I don't know everything?
Yeah.
Why on earth would I know everything?
Yeah.
Like, I'm one person with, and I'm doing great. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm knowing what I need to.
Who are you trying to prove? And this is the other thing.
Who am I trying to prove to? It's really like I felt like
Where's the benchmark? I mean, who's setting all these benchmarks? It's very much.
What if I decide the benchmark for my own life? Like, what if I decide that this is all fine and I'm not missing anything? And there's just more. Like, there's just more in my business. There's just more in my creativity. And I noticed how much I was coming from a place of orienting around, like, there's this thing and I can't find it, and if I can find it, then I can solve the problem that I think I have. that's like it's not a personal thing on me, it's just like business. There's always a thing or something somewhere that you'd like to hone in or refine.
Yeah.
And it's not inherently wrong. I didn't realise how much I was looking at my creative practice and thinking that there was something wrong. And then having somebody that was like in the industry, because I've not come from like fashion retail.
Yeah.
Like there's places that there's a way that I look, which is as the maker, as the person creating the thing.
Yeah.
And it's a very different lens to looking in from like a jewellery retail perspective.
Yes.
And there's I realised how much...
And thank God you're not, and that's the other thing, that you need someone to be like, actually, it's, you've got those, it's the skills you do have.
It's special to create the thing,
the creative that you are.
That's what's making the things be there.
Yes.
I'm creating that. That's like enough in itself.
Yeah.
I don't have to have all the answers around every other thing.
Sometimes I forget that, because I do my own photography.
Yeah.
And I do get so many people contact me to say, let me take photos of your
I bet you do,
work.
yeah.
And then I have to explain, like, I don't have the budget for that. I thrive. Like, one of my favourite things about my whole process is doing the photography. Like, that's just like the final thing for me to make, in terms of making. And I can't remember where I was going to go with this. But because, and I sometimes think, maybe, because when you apply to certain jewellery things, they want the standard ring picture behind the white.
Yep.
And I just have to say, well, I'm not even going to bother, because
doesn't exist for me.
Yeah, I can't even begin to frame my work in someone else's mind that way, because then it's not my work, which is so mental, isn't it? But I just have this constant thing of like, well, am I missing that? And then the other day I was just like, I just need to lean in more and actually get better at framing what I'm trying to say, because maybe if there are question marks, from certain people, or there's something that I need to communicate better. But basically one of the criticisms was that I was using this is nothing really, but using natural dried flowers in my photography.
It's so beautiful.
They didn't understand why I was doing that to go with the work that I was making. Like, it was
so
this,
interesting.
antithesis of each other. And to me, that's what makes it interesting. Like, I love the colour play, and I love the fact that the two things don't necessarily go together, and then I can arrange things in a very original way, and it's just fun. It's just like part of it.
It's you in that thing, like in that frame. It's you, and it's part of your aliveness and the aliveness of the piece.
Exactly.
Right? Your choice of where to frame it.
And I think this person just did not get that, and ever since then I've been thinking, I can't do that now, because it's seen as this kind of real. I mean, if she's not getting it, then maybe other people don't understand. And then I just realised, what am I thinking? Like, why this person is a prominent person. Yeah. So, and I respect that person hugely. But then I just realised, I think I just need to ignore that at this point and lean in and just get better at doing what I'm doing.
Go further into it.
Yeah. And I do that all the time. I'm constantly nitpicking and then realising, I just need to get better at the thing that I'm trying to communicate, because I've not been doing it very long. Yeah. And I guess at certain points of me do want to professionalise. Yeah. And I don't have a huge team, I have no team behind me, it's just me. So I guess, and you must know that as well, you're putting things together because they feel good at this point. And boy, where is that line between this looks good to me and I'm putting things together versus I'm professionalising this, is that a thing? I'm constantly thinking that as well.
There's so
much. It's a very vulnerable feeling, because then you feel like, does that mean you
have to really
I don't know what I'm
yourself.
Doing? But, I sit with that a lot.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like it's really important to hold that, like, a healthy dose of tunnel vision over this thing that, like, as in the general overall thing that you're bringing into the world, as in like your name and your brand and what you're creating.
Yeah.
But also specific pieces. But I feel like you have to have a level of tunnel vision, because if you're looking out, it gets diluted, and you can you start to see things in the context of what you could think you should be doing.
Yeah.
And is what you do right for the world?
Yes.
And
does
it has
fit
to
in?
It has
in a
to
way,
first,
which is-
yeah. Does it fit in? Like, and maybe if you're an artist, you'll never feel like you fit in. But I don't want to fit in. Respectfully, I couldn't give a fuck, and I have to honor and really trust my tunnel vision to provide the like container to create something that's in integrity.
Yes.
I feel like it's actually really important. And then there will come points in a creative cycle where I start to go, I should let somebody else see this, or else like I could just be really fucking this up.
Yeah.
And that's also natural, and I don't push against that too much anymore, because I think that's also, if you're monetizing your creativity in some kind of way, at some point it needs to be received, and a few people you want to like it to keep your business running.
Yeah.
So it's like there's that.
Thing. Yeah, it's always like this kind of crux point, isn't it?
It's a bit paradoxical. It's always felt paradoxical to me, and it's something that I wanted to outsource, like the magic answer to that.
Yes.
And I've realised it's actually the thing. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
Maybe it won't always feel like that, but it's not wrong.
And I would love to know, and maybe this is just because I don't have many friends that do jewellery.
Yeah.
Does anybody get it right in that way? And like, is it just the, because I obviously, it's, you know, I do follow a lot of you know, they're similar age, they're just like female, but they've got teams behind them, because that's
they've scaled
up. And I think, are you like, have you employed the right, you know, how have you done it? And then I think actually being in that position, I actually am a control freak, and I'm learning that more and more as I do more and more. I couldn't let go the stuff that I've been told to let go, because also, again, like even with my stone setting, someone said, oh, why don't you go and, you know, send your stuff off afterwards and get someone else to stone set it? And I was like, you're missing the point. Like, that's completely a part of me, of the piece, of the character of the piece. And I just think, well, maybe, you know, that would be a way to scale up or whatever, but that's not my intention, and that will never be my intention. And I think, but those kind of conversations, they're important, right? Because you have to kind of keep evaluating where you want to go. Yeah,
and what's right for you, because nobody can answer that apart from you, because it's also...
what's best for your life.
And scaling a business can be... I mean, as a jeweler, like it's hard to scale a business because your hands are the only hands that you have. So if you intend to keep making all of that work yourself, it's like being a massage therapist. Unless you bring other hands in, you can't scale it. So it's then, if you are wanting to, which is beautiful, and it will be really right for somebody, and they will flourish in that. And it's also just a different way.
Different way.
It's
not wrong, it's not right. It's just...
and like what you hand over, because it's a few years ago now, but somebody said to me, like, you know, what you're doing is great, but what you could do with is, you know, you design the pieces and then have them made in like India or somewhere, and then you get to keep designing, and your pieces can be a lot cheaper. And I was like, I remember feeling like
sick.
I went to point to my solar plexus, because I remember feeling this real charge of like, that's interesting that you would, I think you know me fairly well, would think that that's anything that I would want to do, and it's not wrong.
No,
that's a beautiful way to scale a business, and I see jewelers beautifully choosing that after a few years and being like, I'm ready for this expansion, and it's totally right,
and it fits what they're doing,
and it doesn't feel like it's compromising anything, because they have more time to play, and they can still, you know,
and
play
some
and
people
create.
are just naturally really great at one thing as well, and that's like, that's a, you know, I would love to be better at certain things and dedicate that.
There's definitely, like, I think about this because I feel like, well, it wasn't a wrong suggestion at all, but my body definitely was like, oh no, that's not me. It doesn't feel like anything I'd want to do.
I just wish that I could do it all the time.
And
do exactly what I'm doing. But then when I really look at it, I am. So
you are doing it.
I'm not, shouldn't. I think I panic and I freak out. And, you know, like there are certain months of being a jeweler, I don't know if you have it, like summer is very, 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 very quiet. And then it picks up either end of the year. You know, and I think I'm just learning those rhythms.
It's like, I realised I had this illusion that it would be consistent, because we're obviously told and taught like to pursue a livelihood that's consistent. Like since I was very little, I remember not having the adult understanding of it, but being like, you know, you want something to be there all the time, and it always needs to look the same way.
Yeah. Yes.
And
I mean, that's just
And in retail, it's not. If you make bespoke things, there'll be seasons where people will really be desiring that thing around their life, whether it's like, you know, a wedding or a holiday or a birthday.
Yeah.
And there are certain kind of peaks, and then you're in like a little mini void.
Yeah.
And
it's just coping with those.
Yeah, and it has to be okay, because
especially as an artist, when you're like, I want to create, I want to be doing this thing that I'm living.
Yeah,
it's hard to understand that.
Yeah,
I think initially.
Yeah, I feel like nobody told me that.
Yeah,
probably because I haven't come from industry, so it's like I had to learn it through the like fire of the like, oh God, what?
Yeah,
what's this all about? Is there something
dropping off here?
Yeah, and that really allowed me to see that part of me that's like, there's something wrong, and it's like, maybe it's not wrong, but I can relate to it differently. But then it's also security and all of those things, isn't it? So it's natural to have a sense of like, can I reorient that to make it feel differently, so that
exactly. And I guess I'm able to understand that, because one of my favorite things is, well, before I became a jeweler, I was so in love with this particular jeweler, and I used to follow everything she did. And she has I think it's twice a year, this amazing sample sale. And I was like, thinking early on, maybe I'll get to the point where I could do a sample sale. Yeah. And she does it, I think, in summer. Yeah. And it always sells really well. And I was thinking, well, that's great. So I've just, I understand that now. Like, if you have a few, dead months, then a sample set, there's ways and there's means. But I think you definitely, it's not... you learning as you go. Yeah, there's no prescribed. Yeah, I feel like it's it can really like rinse your creative energy to be perceiving it in the way of like not right, or it should be different. Yeah. And equally to that is also, of course, we all like, well, I say, well, I don't know everyone, do I? But like, it's natural and beautiful to strive to want to like understand that flow and to like be able to maximize it and manipulate it.
Yeah, of course. Let's not pretend you don't want to like make it work better for you and for your life. Yeah. But also to honor the way that it is. Yeah, totally. Because it's not always just one thing. It's like a thing to hold that. It's a particular kind of like energy, because it can pick on those bits I feel of like myself, at least, where I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was feeling that way about that thing, and it actually feels a bit kind of sticky for me, and I'd quite like to change that. But you have to be able to like see it as it is first, I think. Yeah. So it's like, it's really beautiful to have that, and also I'm learning to trust that, because what I've noticed, to go like back to what you were saying about mentorship, is that like everyone will have an answer for you. There's like a million different answers for that thing, that part of your business. Yeah. If you allow them to. Yeah, if you allow them to. Like, because we just have this world of information where everything is like just immediate, and also an algorithm. Yes. If you're talking about social media, where as soon as you ask one question somewhere or click on something, you get, bombarded with like, this is the answer to the problem that you didn't know you had. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Everyone knows more than me. Gatekeeping. So it's like you have to trust the thing. I feel like I've just said a bunch of stuff, but you have to trust the thing in front of you. I feel is the really simple thing, and everything else moves around that. And just something about direction. And having like holding, because I think I've had my head down for so long that when I do pop up from it and think, oh, where am I going with this? I could catastrophize. I can't even say it. Yeah, I can never say catastrophize. I don't think I've said that either. So think about the worst, or thinking about the way you don't want it because to go. I'm not giving myself enough time to think really slowly. To really just like
allow it to breathe the direction that I'm wanting to go in. And it's just like spits and spurts. And I think I'm again, I guess with being creative and having more as I go on and as I develop, more people coming to me and which is amazing, like just mind blowing. And I think I'm having to learn to just balance it out a bit more and understand that I need to be thinking about these things not in a panicked way, but just a little bit more all the time, so that when I do start thinking about them, I don't panic. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something we said before the mics went on as well about like feeling that like urgency. In things and letting things slow down and breathe is like a really beautiful balm to that like urgency. If you can let yourself have it, is to like inch it down a little bit, because it's really hard to see the thing that you want to see, which could be like, how do I do this thing with my business, or like where do I go with that? Like if it's like squashed together in that urgency, it's really hard to let the answer come to you. I find
giving it that time.
I'm
bad for that. I just love to do everything as quickly as possible, because if I've got an idea,
me too.
Oh my gosh, it's so I find it difficult, and I do have to remind myself, actually the slower you do things, the better the outcome. Sometimes because sometimes you also need to let the energy run, like the boost.
I feel like there's also, it's a kind of a bit paradoxical, because I also feel like there's a lot of emphasis I see out in like the kind of particular bit of the world that I sit in, maybe with my jewelry, which is about slowing down, and it's like we don't always need to slow down. Sometimes you can feel like something needs to just be like out, and that's also really like important and beautiful when it's like the natural pace. What I find is like, if I'm trying to make something happen quicker than it actually or
which
like
is
an
how
answer
I've
to
lived my
arrive.
life. I'm constantly saying hurry up, like I want this to, I'm so impatient and have been, and that's all the times in my life, including having a child. Every time I forced something, it's always gone wrong. Every single time, whether it's been moving in the kind of like the cosmic huge things of life, getting married, having a child, like forcing things, never good. And I wish I'd known that when I was my daughter's age. And I always say to her, never ever, it's like even the small things, I see her trying to force putting on her clothes, trying to force her, and I just say like, you'll never do it that way. Don't force things. And I just like really got to get that message out, because it's never served me right ever. And that's probably one of like the biggest lessons I've learned. Now. Don't ever force things.
It's really beautiful to be able to model that for your daughter. I'm
hoping she'll appreciate it.
She will. Absolutely. Because if like, I can definitely relate to that experience, like from as far back as I can remember, of feeling like things need to get done. And there's like, if I don't do it this way, it's like it just needs to be done in this way. And there's a kind of forcefulness behind it. And there's such a charge in that, like that totally framed my life until like I had to like reorient my life, because my body could not live that way, and it was just so conditioned that I'd never even thought about it until I had to look at it. And I feel like how beautiful for you to be able to have all of what you've kind of created, and also the way that that's crafted you and your life, and then to be able, like, for your daughter to witness that, and for that to
kind of contextualize, hopefully, how she makes her decisions.
It's really, I feel like that's so exquisite.
I just think, but obviously no one's perfect, and I have my moments, but I think I do come back to this thing of like, the big things in life. I realize, and I think that as I continue and do more, create more, speak to more people, even talking to people about wedding rings and things, and I'll have one conversation with someone where I'll not force an idea, but I'll have an idea and I'll get really stuck on it, and then I'll be like, well, what about this? And then they'll throw something out, like they'll have a separate band, you know, to go with the engagement ring or something. And then my idea that I've been focusing on and been trying to force, completely wrong, because it would look not great together, you know, the two wouldn't sit. So I just, even now, I just have to remember, don't ever, you know, even the small things, don't even force things creatively in that way, because you have to be open at all points to adapt. So that's the other thing that I'm definitely learning, the more work that I do and like the more that I create, because every single thing that I make, they're all one-offs. So I never ever, that's the other thing that I've gone a bit, I guess it's this thing that is just completely charged in me to, and maybe that's just because of my taste and this whole bent on being original, but I hate making duplicates of things, and I don't like making the same thing. And maybe it's like very, very anti fast fashion. It is, for me as well. How I would like to, you know, how I kind of position myself is that if I were, you know, I call them like unrepeatable, because also the way I'm making in wax, all the textures and everything, on all the graving and all the marked lines, you know, you can't repeat that. It's
even if you tried, it'd be worse if you did try.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing, you know, at the very early on I did try, and I was like, well, this looks good, I'll try and remake this, and it's just not the way my brain and the way that I create works in the texture. So it's really dovetailed nicely, and I think I've gotten so obsessed with not like repeating myself, that the more work that I do, the more open I have to be, because to that kind of honouring that life of talking to somebody and having that dialogue with them. And again, that's something that nobody ever, as a jeweler, I'm sure you have it, like there's no instructions. This is how you get the best idea and how you create with somebody. Because when I'm speaking to someone and they're like, I want this and that, you know, it can go so wrong so easily. And I fear that. But
I get that. I've tried a bunch of different kind of tactical things from my own, because I have no idea, just like being like, is there a way to make this process different or smoother? And I kind of don't at this point, and I'm well open to it changing, but I'm like, it's so different for everybody. And I feel like there's like certain ways in that process that can be kind of like certain bits that I expect, but also like I can't plan for it, so I have to like trust myself. And because those things, like they're unrepeatable, it's got its own process. I really like that you use the word unrepeatable, because I feel like that really like nails the thing that you do, and that is really special about something being made just once. I feel like it's really potent. Like I definitely find, I mean, I've started to make less and less things that are like small batch. I tend to mostly now make one-off pieces, and the materials lead that thing. Because I had noticed over the years that when I started to repeat the same thing, I felt like the energy that I was putting into it was diminishing. Like,
and that's my fear.
I'd stopped enjoying it. So there has to be something original for me now in it, even if the object is something that you can click and order on my website. It's like the pearl in it has to be different, or there's something that needs to be just in that one that keeps it alive.
Totally.
I think
that's so important, and I think that's just art to me. That's what defines art.
And there's so much value in that. Like that's the thing, that something that's fast and churned out and forced out in terms of like fashion or jewellery, where there's like many others of that thing, is not, it's just so different. I don't want to make it wrong, because it already exists in the world, and I feel like if we go, that's bad, you can't change it. But it's not where I want to be in the world, or how I want to create in the world.
And like there's something about, not producing surplus amounts of things. Like, because that makes me sick to the stomach as well.
That there's just too much of everything.
There's too much of everything. And the fact that, the very fact that, we make these, it's adornment, these are extras. These aren't aren't things that are necessarily needed. Obviously, like, you've got the customs of getting married, and but that's people's choice. And I just so I have not a hang up, but I'm definitely very, very conscious that this is an exquisitely, I'm in this amazing position where I can do this, make beautiful things that people you know, that speak to certain people, but they're not needed things, and they're very coveted things. And to me, not going in excess, you know, not over creating and doing like surplus of more than one, it's all tied in. And I think and I guess as makers we also have to be aware of that space, and that's a hard one.
Absolutely.
It's a hard one to navigate.
Because you could keep going into that frame of like, is this too much, you know, like am I producing too much? But you also need to hold stock of things to be able to do like a fair do and like I do. And I think just to have your eyes on it is enough, like to know where you're coming from, because I do also feel like nothing that I make is essential, in the sense of it's not like the light bulb that goes into that lamp like will practically be essential in the world. But I also do feel like it is absolutely essential that we have objects made by hand in the world that hold real value. I think that is needed. I do think it's a vital, essential part of our aliveness, because we've seen that as far back as we have traces of objects existing in the world that people had reverence for, that were made by hand. I mean, until a machine could make it a lot of the time, but it's like we see our connection to ourselves in those objects, and I feel like that's needed in the world more than ever, because of the way that the world is now and how many things can be replicated or are artificial or are not organic. I feel like there's a way that we need it more than ever. And I also completely understand, like, and somebody doesn't need a pearl necklace. They don't need it. It's not going to be like the same as the light bulb in the lamp, or having electricity or power, or those things. So it's like knowing all of that, I feel, and then letting it run.
Understanding. And there's ways, aren't there, like traceable diamonds and ethical kind of practices, and who you buy your stones from. So like being aware of all of that.
It's raining. It has started raining. So yes, but I think the more I do, the more I'm understanding of that. And I think that's in terms of like mentorship and everything, that's the bit that interests me the most, like the practical side of things, that you need to definitely learn how to be more sustainable, but because obviously a lot of it is common sense as well, but there are ins that just if you started tomorrow you wouldn't necessarily know. So it's good to there'll be people who know that's their special thing that they do, is translate that information, and that's really beautiful too. It's knowing when to like access it, isn't it? There's so I feel like
a wide
it is so wide and so vast, and I feel like that can also perpetuate the like I don't know, because there's so many things, aren't there? I'm sure it's the same in other industry, like if you're in whatever industry you're in, it doesn't even have to be creative. I'm sure that it's like a way that we distill things from the world, isn't it? And then also wonder if we might know the answer. But I feel like because there's so many fields within jewellery, and there's so many disciplines within disciplines, it's like it can be never ending, the list of things that it's like, someone else might know this.
And I'm like working on that, I think, building bridges, or trying to at least understand, and even just to talk, like it's really beautiful to sit here and talk to you about it, because otherwise I would perpetually, unless I seek like a sounding board or advice from somebody who knows more than me in a particular area, like it just stays as this like whizzing round thing. It's really beautiful to like let it out and to like speak to these things, because they're not personal. I always forget it's not just like a personal thing. It's so not personal. There's so much. I feel like we've reached like a drop, and the rain has like come in. Well, it's more like hail. I know, it's kind of short and
can't
sharp.
see in that window, but it's like
the sun's still out. No, it's important to connect on it, for sure.
It is.
So like as anything is, it's like this journey of unknowns
in the unknown,
unknown unknowns. And I think that's like being accepting of that, so that you don't spiral. For me anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a practice.
It is a practice of being in the void, isn't it? Because we're always in it, really. Is there I want to ask you, is there anything, if we like round this off, is there anything that you're particularly wanting to let people know that you're creating this year? I mean, it's spring now. Is there anything you'd like to let people know is like on the way?
Yeah, I think I generally, so obviously having a school-age daughter, I'm working in the cycles of school.
Yeah.
And I think, but my desire is always to kind of be consistent and do smaller things throughout the year.
Like little releases.
Yeah, little releases. So I've been doing a few of those, and I want those to carry on. And I think it's just my intention just to kind of carry on doing as I'm doing, connecting. I have a real thing about how my jewelry, I'm completely obsessed with doing photo shoots and styling, and I love that world, and to me that really brings things alive. And again, it's one of these things that I have no experience of, and I don't know anybody, and I've been lucky that a few stylists have contacted me, and they create things. I send them my pieces, but I would love one day to collaborate with, more creatives. Yeah. And I think that's, the more I do, the more exciting an opportunity one day that might, that feels like going to do an on-shoot photo shoot somewhere and it'd be part of the styling and the here and there. I've done bits and pieces of that working because, with jewelry, it needs to be on people. Yeah, it does. And I think a lot of my world can be quite small, so I'm working by myself, and as I said, like all the photography I do myself. But I know as I carry on, my desire to see it on people, it gets bigger. Yeah. And so I think,
it's part of the vision, isn't it?
It's part of the vision, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is a visual thing. So I'm just manifesting those like incredible, like working with other artists, I think, in visual artists,
it's
doing
so
interesting
vital,
things. I'm manifesting that this year, next year, and just creating pieces that like people absolutely love. Like I just think that I can't want more than that. For more than that, really, at this point. So,
I mean, that's like, it's all part of the vision, isn't it? And why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah, I know. But it feels so like raw and exposed, even saying it, like I'd love to do this one day. But, and it's hard, sometimes it feels like deepest, darkest desires coming out. Yeah. But that's where I'm at.
Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful. And like, why wouldn't you want that? Like my beautiful friend Nelly said to me, like, why wouldn't you dream big? And I suddenly was like, oh yeah, I can have that. Like I can have the dream of the thing.
Yeah, allowing, I think that's all part of it as well. Like allowing what you want, because it's your thing. Like no one can take that away from you.
And to see it in the world, like to see your vision as a tangible thing or in co-creation, like is such a beautiful energy, because I feel like it magnifies the energy like tenfold when it's with other people. Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's a really powerful thing. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want that?
I see it as fun as well. Like these are the fun things. Like who doesn't love dressing up and putting stuff together? You're a photographer and you get those you must get those kind of opportunities. And to me, that's seeing it, that's living it.
It is living it.
And I just love that. So
it's really magic.
Different to the school run, for sure.
It's a different energy.
Different energy.
Both necessary. Yeah. But that's how I ended up being a photographer, is photographing all of my jewellery for years. Yeah. That's exactly how I ended up doing it with a photography practice and then a service, is because I was like, I need to like create this vision that I have. Yeah. And I've initiated myself, like I've qualified myself through taking so many bad photos over the years, like in pursuit of, and also like just technically poor photos in the like pursuit of like creating the vision of the thing that was like, I have this thing in front of me, but I really want to see it on a person, or it needs to just be alive in this particular way that's like inside and I want it to be out. Yeah. And because it's felt really necessary, and it has been necessary.
It's coming through you.
Yeah.
I think that's your eye, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's your eye, isn't it? And we all have our lens and the way that we see things, and it's getting that inner vision like out. Yeah. And so I totally understand like the big desire to see like in collaboration with people and to play dress up, and it still remains like like one of the most sacred parts of like my jewelry practice is actually that bit.
Yeah.
It's like after I've made the collection or the thing, is like that part of it.
Yeah.
Is, I feel like it's really special.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and that's like the fun.
It is the fun, yeah.
Because a lot of it is, you know, quite solitary work. Is well, all of it really for me anyway. Is solitary work. So to be able to do that, that's just like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you. Like when I hear other people talking about it, I feel that energy, and it's like, oh, it's so magic.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Well, you've said it now. It's on record. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But thank you. It's been lovely.
Thank you for having me.
I hope it's been interesting.
Yeah. Oh
like
my goodness.
Myself.
Yeah. I feel really energized and really like. Thank you so much. It's been so beautiful to hear your voice and your expression and. I will put all the appropriate links in the, what do they call it? Is it the show notes? The show notes for the thing. And people can find your magic and your work. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Right. I'll go push the button now.